he had a scare, a health scare. He's perfectly fine now, but he had a health scare. And when he was laying in the hospital bed, or no, not even a hospital bed, it was just an outpatient. He was scared because you're thinking about stuff like, well, what could be happening to me? Your mind just goes to the worst. And he said, I could be having 100 problems, but when it comes to my health being bad, that only goes down to one problem because none of that other stuff matters anymore. If you can't take care of your body or your body's failing, that's your only problem at this point. So take care of it so you can take care of every other problem that you have. Welcome to Journey to Joy Live, a podcast to promote wellness, resilience, and joy while breaking down the stigma of mental illness in the Black community and providing mental health awareness. I'm your host, Dr. Enjoy, and today I bring to you episode 63, Nurture Reset, Body Goals Beyond Fitness for Full Health. All right, so as we talk about nurture, that is the N in inspire. Remember, we're talking about the Inspire Joy, right? The Inspire Joy series. This is week 2 of that. Last week, we talked about the I in inspire. The I in inspire is integrity. And I failed to show the chapter integrity and how there's these beautiful pictures that separates out each chapter. So yeah, I mean, there's a Black female on the front, but we got some guys in here too. So integrity we got right here, and we talked about our thought shifts, our emotion shifts, gratitude, and our trauma yields. That's what we talked about last week, episode 62. Check it out if you missed it. So now episode 63 goes into nurture, the in inspire. And our nurture is all about our physical health. So look at these beautiful colors. We got another fellow right here. And then there's the positive affirmations right here. So there's 100 positive affirmations in the Enjoyno, and they are just spread throughout in different colors and things because I love colors. That's part of my self-care, colors. So nurture, when we think about nurturing our body, whether that is through what we feed our bodies, what we put in our bodies, what we expose our bodies to, whether that's food or drugs or any type of substance or medication. So nurturing our bodies, as well as nurturing our bodies through sleep, healthy sleep routines, and of course, nurturing our bodies through exercise. So I always talk a lot about exercise and fitness. I even have a whole podcast episode on fit fulfilling. And so that's why this is Body Goals Beyond Fitness for Full Health. So we're going to talk about more than just fitness and using the Enjoyno because the Enjoyno was just published last month, and it helps you deal with your mental health, physical health, financial health, social health, aspirational health, in order to find joy using that Inspire Joy method. So that's why we're doing this Inspire Joy series so that we can break down each section. So as we dig into nurture, let's take a back seat and think about, speaking of back seat, your car. Most of us have cars. And if we think about how we treat our car, we treat that car really well, don't we? You better, right? Because if you don't, you're not going to be able to drive it. You rely on your car to get you from A to B, to get you from A, B to C, all the places you're trying to get to. When it needs gas, you put gas in it. Why? Because if you don't, the car going to stop and you can't drive it. If there is oil that needs to be changed in your car, you're going to make sure you change that oil, because what's going to happen if you don't? Your car going to break down. In fact, I remember a story where my mom took the car to get the oil changed, and this actually wasn't her fault. Somehow the person put the oil, or they took the oil out, but somehow forgot to put the new oil in. So she drove off the lot with no oil, barely made it a block away, and the car broke down. The whole engine was gone. So cars need oil, right? Cars need gas. It needs coolant. I've had stories. I think this was the same vehicle where we just had to keep putting coolant in it. I don't know what was going on. Was it leaking or what? We just always had to put coolant in this car. It would just lose it. I don't even think I would know what coolant is if it wasn't for this experience. But cars need coolant too. I don't even remember what it does. But guess what? Cars need coolant. They need engines. They need all these things. And there's certain lights that come on in our car. And hey, if it's the gas signal, we know exactly what that is. Sometimes the service engine soon light comes on. Sometimes there's these wild signals and we don't even know what's going on. But when you see those signals, are you just going to drive your car around and ignore the signals? Nah, you take it straight to the lot. You may take it to the dealer where it came from, or you may take it to somewhere because you done found someone that's a little bit cheaper. But guess what? You're taking the car in to make sure it's fixed, because if you ignore those signals, that your car is going to break down. We take our car very seriously, and we usually don't say anything negative about our cars, right? A lot of people have this superstition that if they say something negative about their car, that it's going to break down. And you're usually not looking at your car and saying, oh, you just look awful. Like, we don't talk to our cars that way. Hey, maybe there are people that do that, but I feel like for the most part, people just happy to have their car. And there's many people who are financially savvy with their budget who buy used cars or still have their cars from college, and that car is as old as all get out, but guess what? It's getting them from A to B. They're not complaining, and they don't have a car note, and they're really excited. So, why am I spending all this time talking about cars? Obviously, it's a metaphor for your body. We take so much care for our cars and recognizing the signals and taking it in and make sure it's taken care of. We got to do the same thing with our bodies. We have to respect the fact that our bodies are getting us from A to be. We have to respect the fact that there are signals in our bodies, just like a car, that's telling us it's something wrong, and not walk around throughout the day and not get it taken care of. We have to respect the fact that there are things that we need to put in our body that our body needs, and things that we don't put in our body that our body does not need. Are you putting water in the gas tank? No. Are you putting vinegar in the gas tank? Are you putting some soda where it needs coolant? No, no, you're not worried. You're not doing any of that. You're putting the right things in your car because you know your car needs it. So the same thing with your body, putting the things in your body that is healthy and that it needs. And again, the same way you're not talking about your car and the way it looks, you just worried about whether it's going to get you from A to B. Same way about our bodies. Talking about your body and talking about yourself is, we can be the worst critic for ourselves, and that just is a sign of lack of self-love, lack of self-compassion. And we really need to reframe how we think about our bodies. Our bodies are getting us from A to B. Our bodies are getting us through life. Being grateful, of being able to breathe and wake up in the morning and be able to eat. There are people that actually can't do that, but they still alive, but they can't do those things. But I bet they cherish the things they can do. So being able to reframe how you think about your body is really important, instead of being worried about how it looks, and that it is helping you get through life. So let's start with fitness, of course. When it comes to nurture, the nurture reset, there's four things I want you to think about. The first thing is fitness, right? The second thing is nutrition, what you're putting in your body. The third thing is making sure you're getting good sleep. And the fourth thing is what you put in your body and making sure you are going to your doctor's visits, making sure you are keeping up with medications you're supposed to be taking, and making sure you're monitoring other things like substances or alcohol, and, not overdoing it, right? Some of the things you should not be doing at all, especially if it's illegal. But then as far as alcohol, doing it in moderation. You know who you are. You know if you're a person that should not be drinking alcohol at all. And you know if you're a person that maybe should just only have one glass. So know who you are. I'm not here to say don't drink at all. I happen to not drink. My husband doesn't drink anymore. He's sober for almost 5 years. My mom hasn't drank in a few decades. My dad was, I think he wasn't an alcoholic. He was a drug addict, but I don't think he had trouble with alcohol. But anyway, My mom vowed not to do those things. So it's like I grew up in a family that really didn't do a lot of those things. So know who your family are, know who your family is, know who you are. And I I don't drink because I know I have an addictive personality. So if you know you have an addictive personality, why are you turning to alcohol or drugs or cigarettes, knowing good and well that's just gonna, you're gonna keep turning to it because you have an addictive personality. So I know not to touch those things because even with sushi or even with sugar, I'm like that. I'm like, ooh, let me just eat it all. Like I'm all or none. It's either I do it or I don't. So I know that for myself. There's no moderation. Even last week, actually, and we're talking about food at this point, I I have not been doing sweets for like several weeks at this point. And I love sweets. I love sweets. That's pretty hard for me to not do sweets. And we were at a repast and there was a cheesecake, little cute little cheesecakes. And I was like, ooh, I'm gonna eat a little cute little cheesecake. So I ate it and it was good. And I asked my sister because she had the banana pudding. So I said, ooh, is the banana pudding good? And she said, why are you asking about that? You just had cheesecake. And I looked at her like, are you telling me I can't go and get this banana pudding? Because I want the cheesecake. I mean, I want the more banana pudding, even though I had the cheesecake. And she's like, you're doing it. You know what you're doing. You already know this is your slippery slope. When you start eating sweets, you keep eating more. And I was like, ooh, and I really wanted it. But she was so right. And she was like, you know what? I have some empowerment for you. Why don't you take a little spoonful of the banana pudding and then just throw the rest away? I'm like, how am I going to throw it away? So anyway, I took her advice. I took a little spoonful of banana pudding and actually it was way too sweet. I didn't even want it. So I threw it away. And therefore, yes, that's some awesome discipline. Thank you for the comment. You gotta be discipline. That is key when it comes to nurturing our bodies and what we put in our bodies and what we avoid to put in our bodies. But that's why it just goes back to being able to know who you are, your true self, and monitoring, what it is that who you are. So I know that for myself, and not to say I'm never going to do sweets again, but it's just for now, I'm just, kind of taking a break. Well, I had something sweet today and I was able to put it away. So that's cool, but I can't do it every day. So the first thing, what did I say? We're talking about fitness. I go all over the place, but I think y'all know that by now. So, as far as nurturing our bodies through fitness, we need discipline throughout all of this, throughout making sure we're getting good sleep, discipline for that, discipline for fitness, discipline for a healthy diet, as well as discipline for what I mentioned as far as the fourth criteria for nurture, which is making sure you take in your medications when you need to, go into doctor visits and things like that. And of course, avoiding certain substances for your body. So, physical, I'm a runner. Of course, I love running. Of course, I'm going to say, yeah, run. It's amazing. But you don't have to do it. There's different types of physical activity that can work for you. Maybe you want to try running. Maybe you want to try walking. Maybe you want to try yoga. Maybe you want to try Pilates. Try swimming. Try different things and figure out what you like. Some people say, oh, I hate running. I'm never going to do that. Some people say, I hate weight training. I'm never going to do that. Okay, fine, but try it because you never know. You might actually like it. Because there was once upon a time I was not a runner. I did the ellipticals. I did. How was I doing weight training at that point? I know I did a lot of the elliptical and maybe a few of the weight. Oh, I remember what I did. I forgot his name. He did the yeah, I forget. But I used to do a guy who had workout videos. This was ages ago. Wish I could remember. Beachbody. Beachbody. He was through Beachbody, but that wasn't his name. Anyway, somebody comment if you know who I'm talking about. Black man. Whatever. So that's what I used to do. I used to do a lot of cardio and it was fun. It was great. I was not doing running. But somehow I decided, let me get on a treadmill. Let me see how this works. Because I was just like, ooh, this is hard. And I remember my first 5K, which is 3 miles, was like, felt like forever. Shanti, thank you. Shanti, yes. I used to do Shanti all the time. Uh, I was going to wake up at 2 a.m. and say, oh, Shanti. Thank you. He was good. I wonder if he's still doing stuff. So, yes. You may change how you work out or change what you do. I was doing those plyometric workouts and then I changed to running. So find out what works for you. And just because it might be something that you don't want things, everybody knows. And even though it might be something that you think you don't like, you may actually like it. And ever since I started running, that's what I do. I love running. But it's really important because you will start to see the results, even if you don't see the results right away. The results are there. And with fitness, the results are there for your physical health as well as your mental health. Physical health, you got your heart health. It makes your heart rate go up higher because and that's healthy. Your heart rate should go up. If your heart rate is not going up when you're working out, that's actually an issue. You should talk to your doctor about that. So your heart rate should go up. So doing an activity 30 minutes a day, at least 30 minutes a day, to increase your heart rate is very beneficial to your heart, beneficial to your muscles, beneficial to your bones. You get increased bone strength, lots of different things. The blood is going to your muscles, the blood is getting to different organs of your body. So, everybody I know knows all of that, I would imagine. But obviously, we need to find ways to focus more on physical health. And some people say, well, it's difficult to start. I don't usually do it. And it's like, how do I do it? Sometimes you got to trick your mind. You got to go to sleep with some workout clothes and you just have to do it. One of the therapy strategies is behavioral activation. And behavioral activation means like not waiting till you feel like it. Like sometimes you're just not going to feel like working out, but you do it because you need to. You start because how else are you going to do it but start? And then the habit kicks in because you start to feel better. You start to see those pounds drop if you're looking for that, or start to see the fat percentage if you're looking at that. You don't even have to track any of those things. I'm not even talking about trying to lose weight or trying to weigh yourself, but obviously, physical exercise helps you lose weight if that is what you need. But yeah, nurturing physical health, physical fitness is very important. So, going to the second thing, because I talk a lot about physical health, and really the point of this is to go beyond that, to beyond the fitness. And the second thing that I talk about in the Enjoyno, as far as what you nurture, is what you put in your bodies. And that is really important because a lot of times we are eating for our feelings. We are stressed out and we are anxious. So we just start eating, 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 or maybe our depression reduces our appetite and we're not eating enough. Or maybe we are drinking a lot of alcohol, and a lot of alcoholics are not eating well. So therefore, you might gain weight for a particular reason because the alcohol is high in carbs, or you're losing weight because you're not eating a lot. So it actually can go both ways, gaining or losing because of your alcohol. So monitoring that. Why am I drinking a lot? That's that signal. I talked about the car in the beginning. The car has alarms and signals and lights that go off to say something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. So if you're increasing your alcohol intake, or you're increasing your smoking or your vaping or whatever you're doing, that's a signal. That's a signal that something might be wrong. Are you stressed out? Are you depressed? Are you anxious? Are you self medicating? Eating more cakes, eating more ice cream. Your diet is all of a sudden off. That's a signal. That's a signal. What is happening? Are you self medicating through those substances, through the alcohol, or through sweets, or through whatever it is that's your vice? And yes, cheesecake and ice cream, that's my vice. I love it. Donuts, I don't really care about, but ice cream, oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you can ask my husband. I love those things, but I actually done good without it. So I feel like if I can go without ice cream for as long as I did, you can too. So it's a matter of starting the process, sticking to it with that discipline, as she said, and being consistent. I'm going to mess it up. Let's see, because there's persistency and there's consistency. So I think persistence is what you need to start a journey, and consistency is what you need to maintain, or it's the other way around. Either way, you need both. You need consistency and you need persistency in order to be disciplined and get to that goal. And it doesn't have to be all at once. Maybe you choose, okay, I'm going to start with working out, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to eat however I want to eat, and then I'll ease into it. When I first started the goal of I want to lose the baby weight, I chose fitness first because that was easiest for me because I usually love to work out. My husband was looking at me like, how you gonna lose weight? You still eating all this crap that you like to eat. I love me some chips and guac. I'm not really a bread person, but I love tacos. That has carbs. And I love my nuts. They gotta have the glazed nuts, and I can just eat. So he looking at me like, seriously, how you gonna lose weight and you still eating that stuff? Because everybody knows that losing weight, especially for a woman, is 80% diet and 20% working out. Like you can work out all you want, but you're not gonna lose it. But I said, you know what? I'm easing into this. So I first started with the fitness, maybe for a month or so. See you. And then I decided, okay, I'll cut out sweets. But then I was still eating some other stuff, like pizza or things like that. So I cut out the sweets. I layered it. I can't go all in all at once. And then I cut out whatever breads I was eating and then, layer it. So you can't do it all at once, but you make a plan. I'm not even opening this. But as far as the nurture, when you open up your Enjoyno, it starts with the SMART goals. So SMART goals, SMART, that is you're making a specific goal, measurable goal, something that's very specific and that you can measure, something that is attainable, relevant to what you're doing, and timely. So this is easy to use to help you get in what's my fitness goal, what's my nutrition goal, what's my sleep goal. And so for me, I had to level it out to start out with, okay, I'll stop eating the sweets, then I'll stop eating the breads, then I'll stop eating fried food. And then finally I said, okay, fine, no more Chick-fil-A. Ooh, that was hard. Oh my goodness. I love Chick-fil-A breakfast. It was the sausage, egg, and cheese with the hash browns and a bottle of water. Now that's not my vice. Pop, soda, I'm from Detroit, so I say pop. Soda, I can do without that. So I would get my little bottle of water and feel good about it. But Chick-fil-A breakfast, oh yeah, there were times I would go every day. Honey, you should be so proud of me. I do not eat no Chick-fil-A breakfast no more, but that is so good. Yeah, once you do without the food that you used to love, you get used to it. It's a new norm. And of course, we started fasting. Thank you. My husband can just fast, 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 fast. But guess what? That weight would just melt off of him. And I'm just looking at him like, how are you doing this? And so, yeah, ginger ale has a lot of sweets. My mom loves ginger ale. Yeah. But yeah, going on a tangent, thank you for that comment. I used to tell people in my pediatric training, I learned that cutting out, if you are someone that drinks something like ginger ale or pop every single day, something as simple as cutting out that pop or soda, you can lose 20 pounds in a year just because you only cut out that soda. Okay, so where was I at? Fasting, right. So I was just like, maybe I should try my husband's diet because his weight's melting off. Maybe if I try his diet, it'll melt off. But I love breakfast. So I get the Chick-fil-A breakfast. I get, if I'm not at Chick-fil-A, oh, I would make my pancakes with scrambled eggs, put all the butter in there. And my pancakes aren't just normal pancakes. God rest my dad's soul. I gotta have them pancakes with the sides on them because I put oil in the pan and butter in the pan. So they're crispy and the batter is thin. So it's like crepes. They're not even pancakes, but they're crispy. I call them Nina pancakes. Everybody who comes to my house say, I want a Nina pancake. But you can't have those every day. But I was having them every other day. Put some candy pecans in there. And sometimes I put peanut butter in it. Ooh, y'all gonna have me relapse. I put butterscotch chips in my pancakes. Yeah, yeah. Come on now, Dr. Enjoy. You got to cut that out. So I stopped and I decided to fast. Intermittent fasting is really, really good. So no breakfast whatsoever. That's my favorite meal of the day, Eliza. Yes, my eyes are lighting up because I love the pancakes. Oh my goodness. So, yeah, so I cut out breakfast altogether and I was able to eat between 12 and 7. I still kind of do that right now. I shouldn't say kind of. I am doing that right now. Well, kind of, because this morning I did have some Starbucks and egg white bites, but I knew it was going to be a long day, so I said I deserve it. But yeah, eating between 12 and 7, and the weight melted off is my long story short. I was able to do my husband's diet and it worked, even though I'm a woman and metabolism is higher. So something's got to change. The issue is that whatever you do, it needs to be for lifestyle. I'm not saying like the intermittent fasting has to be for lifestyle, but I do need to limit sweets because I did notice that when I went back to eating some breakfast and not the Chick-fil-A breakfast, not the pancakes and eggs, I still was doing something a little bit more healthier in July, but I added back sweets. That weight was coming back. I said, you gotta be kidding me. So this is a lifestyle. But yeah, figure out what works for you. Sometimes you got to hit it hard in the beginning to lose that weight, but you still have to adjust to maintain the weight because you're going to end up going back to where you were when you gained in the first place. 'Cause I know I was eating a lot. So yeah, this helps with getting in the SMART goals. There's even a self-care challenge here, 30-day self-care challenge. As far as what to do physically to help with your nutrition, to help with your exercise. And then there's sleep, making sure we're getting good sleep. It is really difficult sometimes to get sleep, especially when you're a parent. Because I know for me, the boys are asleep. That's why I'm going live late because hubby is in Utah about to run his marathon in a couple days. Yay. So, anyhow, the kids are asleep. And usually when they're asleep, you're just like, I don't want to go to sleep. I want to finally get my me time. I want to watch TV. I want to go live. I want to do whatever it is I do when it's late. But we have to put that first. We have to prioritize sleep, get at least the 8 hours that we need because y'all know, just like when you don't eat and you're hangry, when you're not getting good sleep, you're irritable, you're easily stressed, your threshold for stress just lowers. My threshold for stress lowers when I'm hungry and I haven't eaten, my hubby knows, when I haven't worked out, and when I haven't had good sleep. Yesterday is a really good example. Like, he was leaving and I'm like about to cry. I mean, of course, I miss him because he's leaving, but I'm just like, why am I so like sensitive right now? And I thought about it, I was like, oh, I am tired. When you look at a toddler or a baby that's crying and you're like, okay, you fed, I changed your diaper. What's wrong? Oh, he's tired. We adults can get that way too. You may not be bawling out like a kid or a baby, but we adults can get irritable, easily irritated, sad, depressed, easily stressed when we don't sleep. So that's actually something that we no pun intended, we sleep on that. Like we sleep on the fact that we need sleep. We don't realize that we as adults need sleep. Oh yeah, I can make it 3 hours. Oh yeah, but for how long? Eventually you're going to have to make up that sleep because sleep deprivation is no joke. You're not productive at work, you're not productive with your relationships. We all need sleep and we need to figure out how to get that in as best as you can, whether it's a nap or overnight. A lot of people come to me saying they're not able to sleep and they ask for medication. And I talk to them about their sleep routine first. Or sleep hygiene first. I'm not just throwing a sleep medication because that sleep medication is a band-aid. And then now you dependent on it because you just need it. So, your devices. Is your device in your face? And that's why you can't sleep? Is it because you have the TV on? Is it because of something you just read or you scrolling all these reels and all of a sudden something got in your head and you didn't realize that got in your head? Is it watching the debate late at night and that's making you not be able to sleep? Actually, I was able to sleep after that, but I was getting riled up a teeny bit, but I was still happy because I was like, oh, she's tearing him apart. But some of his responses, I was like, ooh. But anyhow, or are you watching a Deliverance right before bed and that's got you riled up and now you're going to bed having nightmares? So pay attention to what you put in your mind. Oh, yeah, reading the Bible is a great sleep aid. That is good. Reading in general puts people at ease. And there's many reasons, right? You could be reading it because it's a meditative thing for you, especially if it's the Bible, if you're very spiritual and it's helpful. Some people read like a boring book. Not saying the Bible's boring, but some people might choose a boring book on purpose because that makes them sleepy, right? Versus scrolling for reels on your phone. So it's really important to look at what you put in your body and coming up with a sleep routine. Ever since day one, when we talk about your kids needing a routine, we need a routine too, because that helps your body realize, oh, it's nighttime. I'm doing my bath and my little candles, and I'm listening to my music. I'm listening to sleep meditations. Thank you. Even on Peloton, there's sleep meditations. I am reading my book. I think I mentioned that. But whatever routine works for you, it helps get you in that place. And for some, like myself, working out at night helps me sleep. I don't need to work out at night to help me sleep, but because I'm able to work out in the morning and I can do just fine. But for some people, working out at night makes them awake. Know who you are. If you're the type that's going to work out, like, oh, Dr. Enjoy told me to work out and it's making me wide awake. Well, you're the one that should work out in the morning. And so working out in the morning should still help you sleep at night, if that makes sense. But yeah, sleep meditation. Some people my hubby likes to drink coffee at night and that helps them sleep. I wouldn't suggest that, but if you're that person and you know it, then cool. But certain substances you want to just not put in your body before going to sleep. But the first level of medication that I do tell people, okay, fine, you've tried all these things. Melatonin is a natural substance that we release from our brains that helps us sleep. When it is dark, it automatically increases. So you really can't overdose on melatonin. It's over the counter. You should start with 1 to 3 milligrams, despite people being on 10 to 20. Honestly, 20 is doing nothing. If you need to take 20 ml, it is doing nothing. And when you take it, you should take it 2 hours before you go to bed, not right before you go to bed, because the idea is that it's helping get your natural melatonin back into shape. So anyhow, that's the first one to start with if you're going to start. But see your doctor, of course, paying attention to our signals. Like we pay attention to the car, lack of sleep is a signal, right? You increasing certain foods that you usually don't eat, or increasing alcohol or increasing substances, those are signals to what else is going on. If you're not sleeping, maybe there's a vitamin imbalance. Lack of vitamin D causes issues with sleep. Maybe there's a medical something going on medically where you're not sleeping. Maybe you have sleep apnea. Maybe you stop breathing for 10 seconds every night. Let's get that checked. Let's get a sleep study. Let's go to our doctor. And so that leads into the fourth thing that I focus on in the nurture section. So we mentioned fitness, we mentioned eating healthy, we mentioned sleep, and then now making sure you're following up with the doctor. We may feel like everything is fine, but that's why we go to our preventative visits, so that the doc can look and listen and figure out all those things that you don't see. Driving your car, maybe those signals aren't going off, but you still go and get your oil changed every 3 months. You still go and get your usual maintenance, even if the car, because they got to look under the hood, make sure everything looks good, right? That's how a car repairman is the same as an OB-GYN, because they both look under the hood to make sure everything looks good. So anyhow, looking at the engine, you might be like, oh, I didn't even know that. Or like the house. I'm using the car as a metaphor. You're a house, the plumber who comes to look at pipes, and you're like, oh, I didn't know my pipes looked like that. Let me get ahead and change out those things so that I don't get some random flood in my house. And then now it's cost thousands of dollars to get it fixed. Same with your body. Go see the doctor every year, because you're supposed to. You over 40, you got to get those mammograms. You over 50, you got to get the colonoscopy, even though that should be sooner, but that's a whole nother conversation. But you're certain age, do those things, because you never know what's going to get catched. Because when it's too late, it's too late. And if you're on a medication, talk to your doctor. If you're having side effects, don't ever just stop it. Patients feel like I'm going to get mad at them when they say, oh, doc, I just stopped it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, look, I'm glad you told me. I'm glad you're here to see me, to tell me. Nobody's going to be mad at you. If your doctor gets mad at you, maybe you should switch doctors, or maybe you guys got that rapport where they're just like, why you stop your medication? And y'all can just talk like that. But anyhow, nurture, reset, beyond fitness, to full health. So those are four components that I feel is most important. Of course, when it comes to your body, there might be other things that's important for you to balance, but definitely consider that as being a part of your journey to joy is what you put in your body, what comes out of your body, and making sure you are getting the maintenance and care that you need so that you can continue to go through this life and experience joy. Because without your body, that's it. That's it. One more thing though. My husband said the best quote ever. He had a scare, a health scare. He's perfectly fine now, but he had a health scare. And when he was laying in the hospital bed, or not even a hospital bed, it was just an outpatient. He was scared because you're thinking about stuff like what could be happening to me. Your mind just goes to the worst. And he said, I could be having 100 problems, but when it comes to my health being bad, that only goes down to one problem because none of that other stuff matters anymore. If you can't take care of your body or your body's failing, that's your only problem at this point. So take care of it so you can take care of every other problem that you have. All right. So if you missed integrity last week, we talked about your mental health, spiritual health, emotional health, and how to get through past traumas. Today we talked about nurture. Next week is the INS. So S in inspire, that is stability. So talking about your finances, that's more so going to be a transparent episode about how I need to get my finances together because I am not a financial guru, but I did my research and there's some things to help in that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Yes, I appreciate you and see you next week.